This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
Is it just me, or does Kenny look exactly like Jennifer Parsons?
Nope, it's just you.
Even sounds like her. Amazing. Hey, welcome to the show. Yes, Jennifer in for Kenny this week. And this, my friends, this is everything we have in store for you. And as you can see, it is a lot.
Yes, it is. And here's just some of the stories you'll see. From hydroponic wonders to sprawling hog farms, how the GFB Passport program has become a game changer for Georgia's thriving agritourism industry. Also on the program, the crucial role of the Georgia Federal State Inspection Service and how it ensures the state's peanut industry stays fair and profitable with unbiased grading. Plus, the conversation that goes beyond the fields and into the heart of the mental health crisis among farmers. Matt Berry, a Georgia farmer and mental health advocate, discusses how the serenity of the fields helps him combat life stresses and shares his thoughts on the burning question: are there enough resources for farmers struggling with mental health? These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor.
With agritourism becoming one of the fastest growing industries in the state, the new GFB Farm Passport can be a valuable guide for scheduling any farm adventures. Damon Jones visited one of the newest members and tells us why the program is so beneficial for not only them, but the entire ag industry in Georgia.
With the goal of supporting local farms and spreading the story of agriculture, the GFB Certified Farm Markets program has seen their number of participating farms skyrocket over the past few years, providing a snapshot of the diversity of operations that can be found here in the state.
This year, we have 100 farms across the state of Georgia that invite you to come and visit them to see what they do. No two are alike. So we have everything from farms like Aloe Farms, who is hydroponic, to row crops, to hog farms, to farms that do both vegetables and beautiful flowers.
And to help guide you through all of these different choices is the GFB Farm Passport, which not only provides a detailed description of the more than 100 operations, but also rewards you for paying them a visit.
You take your farm passport with you, and you, just like if you're visiting another country, you get stamps, and your stamps earn you prizes at the end of the year. 5 is a t-shirt, 10 is Ag Swag, 20 is a Farm to Table dinner and tour, our signature event of the year, and then 30 is goodies from the farm.
And it's not just the visitors that benefit from this program, but also the farms that are involved, like Aloe Farms, a unique operation in Peachtree City.
We joined a few years ago, and it's just been an amazing partnership. All the participants in the stamp program are just excited to be here. They have great questions. We love being able to share and talk with them about the farm. So it brings a lot of enthusiastic customers who appreciate agriculture and what it takes to run and operate a farm. It has brought us a lot of local people who didn't know we were here. So Aloe Farms is a family-owned and operated company. My dad, Jefferson, he's an architect, and he started our farm about 15 years ago on the design and innovation side as a means to address food insecurity on a large scale, and specifically in urban environments. So our commercial farm right now is less than 20,000 square feet, but we'll outproduce about 75 to 125 acres worth in soil of the same types of crops.
And this is just one of the many agritourism destinations that will be featured in the new 2024 Farm Passport when it's released in less than a month.
Kickoff is exciting every year, March 16th, and we'll run all the way through the year, so we get even those Christmas tree farms in at the end of the year. So if you haven't gotten your passport yet, you can start at any of the participating farms found at gfb.ag/passport. You can also pick one up at any of your local County Farm Bureau offices.
Reporting from Fayette County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Here in Georgia, where half of America's peanuts are grown, proper grading is crucial for a thriving industry. John Holcomb explores how the Georgia Federal State Inspection Service maintains unbiased grading, benefiting both growers and shellers.
Each fall, all across the state, peanuts are dug up, harvested, and taken to buying points that will shell them and market them to their final destination. However, an important part of that process is what's called grading, which is completed by the Georgia Federal State Inspection Service that ensures both the grower and shellers receive a non-biased grade that's used to make sure all parties get compensated fairly.
We were an organization founded in 1927 to be a non-biased third party between the buyer and the producer. Mostly in Georgia it's of peanuts, but it's different commodities also. What we really do is we ensure that the buyer isn't paying too much for the peanuts, and the producer is getting a fair amount for the peanuts also. So we're an organization that doesn't, lean toward one side or the other. We're here to be a non-biased party.
According to Musselwhite, the job is one that's taken very seriously, as they strive for uniformity so that it's an equal playing field for everyone, which is why when they take samples from each truck, they work it in a very methodical way to ensure it's done properly and consistently.
To the farmer, he wants to get paid, he worked very hard to produce his product, and he wants to get paid the ultimate price, for his product. So once we are going in there and we're going in and, determining the grade, it really determines how much the farmer's getting paid for his peanuts. So he wants to be able to get, if it grades really high, he wants a premium grade for his peanuts. But on the other hand, if it were to grade a lower grade, the buyer, would not want to pay that premium price for it. So what it does is, what we're doing is we're telling the farmer and the buyer, look, this is what you have, and this is that we don't set the prices for them. USDA and the buyers, they set the prices, but you say whatever grade it has, that determines the price on the peanut.
Musselwhite says that the grading process is also important because it can help further improve peanut production here in Georgia, as it gives researchers, breeders, and growers information that can be useful in the future.
Georgia produces technically 50% of the nation's peanuts. And we strive every year to produce different varieties, University of Georgia, that'll, yield better yields and make higher quality peanuts. So we do through research, through grading, through, different trials and all that they're trying to make a better product, because after a while, the product that you have now, it fails to grade what it was. So they always are having different things come out through the university system, and different geneticists are making it happen. And it's very important for the peanut industry to have somebody doing that, because it'll provide more income, for the farmers in the long run, and a better quality peanut for the shellers and the candy makers and the industry in general.
Reporting in Tai for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
After the break, our continuing look at the mental health crisis in agriculture with Matt Berry, a Georgia farmer and mental health advocate. Join us as Matt discusses the importance of supporting each other in the industry and how his wife Alicia is using her platform to also make a difference.
Your value is more than the markets. It's more than your acres, and more than your livestock, and more than your bank account. We are humans too. We are community members, we're volunteers, we're creative, we're problem solvers. There's so much to us. When a family friend of ours passed away to suicide, it was a real eye-opener for us. When we were in line at the visitation, people said, what happened? What was it that caused this? And as a former counselor, I knew that it wasn't one thing. Suicide doesn't start at the end there, that there's one thing that causes it. That's not how it works. It's a culmination of things. It starts as stress, and it continues as excruciating and chronic stress or depression or anxiety, and it just builds. We had a new baby and a not even 2-year-old at the time, and we really took that opportunity to look in the mirror and say, we're experiencing a lot of stress right now, too much stress right now, to the point where it's becoming out of control, and we probably need to do something about it. that was the time for us that we really made the decision to start talking more, start getting some professional help, which is really hard to do. It's really hard to rip that Band-Aid. But in doing so and making some major changes in our own home, we know that our outcome was well worth that time and those efforts, because we know that we were going down a path that wasn't going to be good.
As a farmer and rancher in North Carolina, I know firsthand the stresses and the struggles that come with this way of life. I've seen it affect good friends, and I've lost good friends. I don't want to lose anyone else. It's time to end the stigma around mental health, and we can only do that when we come together and we keep spreading the message that it's okay to not be okay.
The stigma in rural communities is really troublesome because what it does is it keeps us isolated. It keeps us quiet. We don't want to talk about the stresses that we're having or the struggles that we're having because it makes us seem weak or embarrassed. And when we do that, we don't share that with each other. We don't realize that other people are going through some of the same things that we're going through. So then that really puts up a wall between people who need to get help and their willingness to go out and get it and find it. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to be a doctor. You just have to be someone who can sit with empathy and listen to someone without judging the position they're in.
That's our 25th wedding anniversary.
We want to empower people to ask for help, but we also want to make sure that we are reaching out ourselves. We're expressing concern. We're talking about the things we notice. Hey, I noticed that you usually stick around and chat at the farm when we've wrapped something up, but right now you're always in a rush to get out. Is everything okay? Just showing that genuine concern, that genuine care for someone, and more importantly than anything is just listening. When agriculture organizations like Farm Bureau use that leadership platform to advocate for mental health and to bring awareness and priority to mental health, it teaches farm and ranch families that it's okay to talk about tough things. They show you that your health is a priority to them, your wellness is a priority to them, that you as an individual and as a farmer are a priority to them. It's not just your farm, it's not just your equipment and all the other things that go along with the farm. It's you, and they want you to be well. It allows people, most importantly, to connect to resources that they might need. They allow us to bridge that gap between people who need some sort of help and finding, where that help is. All we have to do is make it okay to talk about stress, to talk about depression, to talk about some of these things that are tough to talk about right now.
If a friend is acting different than normal, I encourage you to see if you can lend them a hand, help them with a chore, or even just go on a drive to look at farm ground and fields. Make sure they're okay. Let them know that you're there for them. If you are down or depressed, I encourage you to ask for help. It's okay. We've been there before, and you're not alone. Let's end the stigma of mental health. We're all in this together.
According to the CDC, farming in the U.S. is among the most stressful occupations, with a suicide rate about 50% higher than the national average. Well, here at The Monitor, we've been highlighting this crisis, offering insights to reduce these numbers and support those in need. Last week, Sumter County Cattleman Matt Berry, a mental health advocate, shared his experiences with our Kenny Burgamy. In part 2 of that conversation, Matt and his wife Alicia discussed how injuries like the one Matt is recovering from can trigger depression, and how efforts to raise awareness and address mental health issues in agriculture simply begin by admitting it's okay to not be okay.
Being out here, does that help you deal with the stress that you have in your life?
Yes, sir. There's no better place on earth to me than being out here with the cattle every day and doing what we do. There's no more, to me, I can't say that for everybody, but there's no more peaceful place on earth than this. I mean, we can solve a heap of problems together, she and I, and it just gives me a perspective, if you will.
Are there enough resources, in your opinion, for farmers that are facing the stress, thinking of ending it all with suicide? Do you believe there's enough resources for farmers to reach out to get that help that they need?
I think we're getting there. We got to start somewhere. As an industry, I don't think people understand what we do. I don't think people understand what we face as an industry. They're trying, but this is not a problem that you can manage from the outside in. We've got to help each other. We got to reach out to our neighbor and say, hey man, you all right today? Or I notice you're kind of out of sorts. Everything all right? I think we're going to have to manage it within the industry to a certain degree, help one another, and then also help those people that are trying to help us understand what we do.
You talk about the different stresses, physical toll that farming takes on an individual. I see your arm. Tell us about that.
Well, this is a surgery that's related from an accident from years ago. It's just a recurring deal because of things going on in what we do for a living. Even with this, the operation continues every day. We don't get a light duty day. It doesn't go well. You know, if I was working in town, they say, oh, you go on light duty for 6-8 weeks, you'll be all right. No, that's not how it works. You're in the operation. Now, I'm fortunate my son and my wife, our youngest son, works with us every day. It puts a little more load on him, but he's okay with that, and we work it out, and I still got one good hand, and we'll keep on going. But it does play a part mentally and physically.
I know you're so super involved with Farm Bureau now with women's leadership. How important of a role does an organization like that play in what the support can be for people like yourself and for Matt?
Well, I think it has brought a lot of awareness to us since we've been doing all of these stress talks. We started with Mercer University and the survey that was handed out, and I think about 1,600 to 1,800 farmers actually responded to that. The numbers, even though I've been in healthcare for all these years, I knew that mental health, we're in a crisis for sure. I had no idea what the numbers were going to be like for farmers. It just never really crossed my mind, and it was really shocking when I saw the data. And I had no idea that farm spouses had thought about death by suicide. And it was only until, you know, my husband told me that he had thought about it before. It shocked me. I had no idea. And I don't want other spouses to be, you know, to come home and their husband tell them something like that. It's a good thing that they will tell them and they don't find out, you know, that they've already done it. But that's kind of one of the things that I want to do with the leadership committee. I want to let other farm spouses know, you know, what we need to do, how we need to be there, how can we be there, what programs do we need to get going, what kind of support do we need to have out there in place for our spouses and for our whole entire family.
What role has faith, your faith, played in dealing with stress and just the challenges of what you do day to day?
Everything. I mean, there was a time in my life where I was embarrassed early on. I started this walk when I was trying to farm when I was young, late teens, and I was infantile in operation and infantile in my belief system at the time. I was embarrassed to say, God, I need you. Now that's the default. I know there's a plan in everything that goes on. Even with this, there's a plan. And whether it be how I handle the situation now or whether he steers that vehicle another direction, I don't know what it'll be, but I'm listening and I'm looking for the opportunities that'll come for it, because at the end of the day, farming, I forget who said it, but there's no greater leap of faith than agriculture and a farmer and a rancher. And I may have added some more words to it than he did or she did, but there is no greater leap of faith than what we do for a living. And faith plays everything, or plays a big part in everything I do every day. So without it, it'd be a whole lot worse than it is. And so it's everything.
And we cannot stress enough, if you or someone you love is struggling with mental health issues, help is only a click away. Log on to farmstateofmind.org. Everything is right there at your fingertips. The Farm Family Wellness Alliance, the 988 Lifeline. So many resources now available.
Up next, from a Bronx kid to a cow care connoisseur, he's milking success at its finest. How this Georgia dairyman is nurturing nature through the practice of responsible farming.
I always used to joke in the old days that sustainability also means that you don't go broke. A well cared for, high producing cow is a lot more carbon friendly than a cow that's not cared for. It's a large dairy and we have 12,000 milking cows. I was born in the Bronx in New York City, and my father wanted to keep me out of trouble, so I used to get to work on a dairy farm when I was a kid. I've always liked working with cows. I learned how to trim feet and take care of the cow at an early age, and it's stuck with me. A cow is a wonder of nature. She's a ruminant animal. They have 4 parts to their stomach, and the massive part of their stomach is the rumen itself, which is basically like a large fermentation vat. We basically feed that rumination vat, and then that cow feeds herself with the microbes and the protozoa in that vat. Corn silage is our #1 staple. We feed about 50 pounds of that to a cow a day. The cow is a tremendous recycling machine. The cow eats all kinds of things that humans can't, and they're very healthy for her. We feed wet brewer's grain. You ever drink a beer, you probably also feeding the cow. We keep this stuff out of landfills, and we get a valuable, nutritious product on the other end. Every time the cows go out to get milked, housekeeping comes in. We flush the barns with lagoon water, which is recycled water. All the water that we use to cool the cows goes in that lagoon. And twice a week we add fresh sand to the stalls just so the cows have a clean, dry place to lay. I always say I want it clean enough that you can wear your prom dress and your high heel shoes down and not get dirty. The biggest recycling that we have on our dairy is the irrigation of our manure water to our fields. This manure gets all flushed down and goes through this series of lagoons, and the solids fall out and get separated out. So right now it's the spring of the year and the corn's just coming out of the ground. It's just been planted. It needs nitrogen. The manure has nitrogen, so we spray that manure on our fields. That irrigation is like gold to that corn plant. It's gets the nutrients plus the moisture all at the same time. It's a great system. Everything's getting used. We've gotten more sustainable and reduced our carbon footprint as an industry tremendously. A high-producing cow and a well-managed cow that's comfortable, she will make almost twice as much milk on a little bit more than half as much feed. Our cows get milked on this massive merry-go-round. It holds 120 cows, and we milk about 900 cows an hour. The cow gets in, she gets back, and she gets to go and do her own thing. It's real important that they get milked fast and safely. Coming to work should be a joy. And don't get me wrong, it's dairy and it's extremely hard work. But if you love it, it's fantastic because it's got so much challenge to it.
Special thanks to the Dairy Alliance for that, and thank you for making this show possible.
For everyone here at the program, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week, everybody.